A three-team trade just went down that's sending Jewell Loyd to the Las Vegas Aces, and the Seattle Storm will get the number 2 overall pick in this upcoming draft. How does that impact the Chicago Sky and their draft plans? Well, that's what we're here to talk about a little bit. We're going to touch a little bit on that and more right after this.
Welcome to Chicago Sky Central, and here's your host.
What's going on, Sky fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Sky Central, your number one spot for everything Sky related. I'm the host here, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chicago Sky Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into it for today, man. So trade went down. Now, those that were following us for a while knows that Steve-O kind of on the last episode talked about the potential of the Chicago Sky trading for Jewell Loyd. I was never really on board with that one. But Jewell Lloyd now is officially traded. She will be on her way to the Las Vegas Aces. Kelsey Plum will be going to the Los Angeles Sparks. And that means the Seattle Storm will be getting the number 2 overall pick in this draft. Now, a lot of Sky fans are hoping that the Sky would have a chance at drafting Olivia Miles, which was already in question if that was going to happen, even if the Sparks ended up holding on to that pick. Now with that pick going to the Storm, on top of the Storm trading Jewell Loyd and clearly going into a different direction with their roster, I highly doubt that this is going to be the case. And so at this point now, the Chicago Sky focused their draft on, I think, getting my personal opinion on this draft now with the Sky. And, Steve-O's not here. Unfortunately, he's not going to be hopping on. So you're just going to get my perspective today. Maybe me and Steve-O will do a different episode later, kind of with both our perspectives. But I do think that the Sky just go board. They go Sonia Citron at number 3, and then pick whoever falls at number 10 between Shyanne Sellers and Tahina. And I think that's where the Sky are going to look at and focus in this. They could get their backcourt of the future. They already have their power forward and center of the future. If you can get in this draft, Citron and Shyanne Sellers or Tahina in this draft, I think you have your backcourt of the future locked in as well. We already know that Chicago Sky are not retaining Kennedy Carter as well, as they let her go in unrestricted free agency. So this is kind of the path that I see forward for the Chicago Sky. Now, that does not mean that the Sky can't look to do something different, right? They could still trade down, gain some assets, trade down. That's still a possibility for them as well. But I think overall, going board is probably the best thing here to get the most talent back for the Chicago Sky, in my personal opinion. But hey, we'll see what happens there. I was hoping you were going to go live. Needed a smart breakdown. Yeah, I mean, listen, listen, the Aces get Jewell Loyd, which is an amazing talent. You cannot take Jewell Loyd is a dog, right? And I know some people have said, well, she's not as much of a dog as she is before. Her going to this Las Vegas Aces team where she's not going to have the whole team on her back, she's going to be a dog. They're not too worrisome about the chemistry of the Las Vegas Aces. So much of what made the Aces special was their chemistry, the fact that they built and developed together. So this is kind of going to be the first test of that. I know that they added Candace Parker a couple of years back. She ended up not playing a lot of games for that team, gets hurt, she retires. But that was adding to what you already built. This is really the first time the Aces are really going to be making this type of level of change to their core. And so we'll see what this brings about for them. But Jewell Loyd still averaging almost 20 points per game last year, 31 years old. We already know what she can be. We've seen it happen before. She's a dog. And I think you pair her with Aja, that's going to be a team to watch. Make no mistake about it. That's going to be a fun team. That's going to be a team they're going to be tough. They're going to execute very, very well, I think. But so you look at that, not a bad thing there at all. And now, as far as the Sparks getting Kelsey Plum, it's going to be interesting. Like, make no mistake, Kelsey Plum only 1 year younger than Jewell Loyd. She averaged 18 points per game last year. Basically, I'm rounding up 0.2 there. But they can use some veteran leadership there, and I think that could be important for that Sparks team is to get that veteran leadership there for sure. Because the Storm draft live to be mentored by Scholar on her way out. That's what I'm pretty sure is going to happen here. Man, Cubs, Bears, Sky lives all around at the same time. Tough. Hey, listen, where the network is working. That's all I can say. The Chi-Town Sports Central Network, we're working, man. And I really hope, like, if you are a Chicago sports fan, we got a show for you. Mike over there at Cubs going hard over there. You know what we do with Bears? We were just live over there on Bears. We're live here now with the Sky. When news drops, we drop. And I'm so proud over the network that we're building. And let me just gush over this for a second, right? I started Chicago Bulls Central as its own thing. From that, we went to Chicago Bears Central. From that, White Sox Central, Cubs Central spun out, Sky Central. So, like, to now have an actual network, and we got some special things coming for you guys as well. Hey, we appreciate y'all, man. I like Georgia more, even though she is a short guard. You know what? And here's the thing, and I got to get back into my draft analysis. We'll be bringing a little bit more. I like Georgia more there as well. Initially, I didn't look at her on my draft board because of not knowing what's going on with Kennedy, and I didn't think that you would want two small guards in your backcourt. But if they do draft like a Sonia Citron at 6'1" as your shooting guard, I mean, I think you can deal with Georgia at 5'6" as your point guard. Now, I still prefer Shyanne Sellers. To me personally, I love her game a little bit more. I think she's a better rebounder. Georgia Moore is a better passer, but Shyanne Sellers is a good enough passer as well. She's really good in that. I think with the weapons that we have here, should be really good. And if you have Sonia Citron and Shyanne Sellers, you have one of the best rebounding backcourts in the WNBA right away. Both these ladies are really good rebounders. But like I said, I'll get more. I know the channel's been a little bit slower. I've been sick. For those that don't follow Bulls, I've been deathly sick. But we'll be getting back in rhythm here. We're going to be doing weekly episodes on Unrivaled. Me and Steve got to nail down a time period for that. And we'll be getting back into the draft bag here shortly as well. So I don't think it changes much for the Sky. Sky should select Olivia Miles. She's not going to be there, though. The Storm should select Olivia Miles. But there was some question over if the Sparks would. Now, more than likely they would have, right? So doesn't necessarily change a whole lot, but we'll see. This is why Sky didn't trade for her. Jeff wasn't giving up that third pick, and I'm glad he didn't. Agreed. And that's kind of what me and Steve-O, I wouldn't say bump heads, we just had a difference of opinion on it. I didn't think that the Sky should trade a number 3 overall pick for Jewell Loyd, not where this team is right now. It'd be different if we had went on a couple of playoff runs or something like that with a young squad, and you want to add a veteran. But at this point, I didn't really want to see that. So Skytown, we up. Olivia Miles is here. Olivia is probably not coming, bro. Probably not coming, Ace. Storm have Skylar Diggins. They're not drafting Miles if they keep that pick. I gotta disagree. Keep in mind, Skylar Diggins, yes, they do have Skylar Diggins, but they could be preparing to go a route of younger. And so I won't assume that they're going to necessarily not pass up Olivia Miles, because you could have a transition year where she learns something from Olivia Miles. So again, I'm not saying that it's impossible either. I'll just say this: I just won't assume that that they don't draft Olivia Miles and they pass up, with especially considering that Skylar Diggins only has 1 year left on her contract. Next season is the last season on Skylar Diggins' contract. And do they think that they've done enough, especially now with Jewell Loyd leaving? Keep in mind, that's who Skylar came to play with. Is she going to want to stay on that team? I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Skylar Diggins may get traded by midseason. So kind of a similar situation, that the Sky had last year, right? Where a player joins a team the year prior, and then that direction of that team changes, and then you may look to go a different direction. So I wouldn't be surprised if Skylar Diggins isn't long with the Seattle Storm personally. But Nate, we'll see. We'll see. Great point there, Nate. But will the Storm pick Olivia? What are the chances they grab a shooting guard? I mean, we'll see. I mean, anything is possible, right? So we'll see there. The Storm have Skylar Diggins, may not be interested. Well, I just kind of went over that. She's only in contract for 1 more year. They very much like Marina Mabry here last year. She may want to go somewhere else. She may want to go to a place that she can compete better, because again, she came to the Storm to be able to compete and play with Jewell Loyd. So we'll see. I mean, it's all speculative right now. You guys could be absolutely right. I could be completely wrong here. It's just kind of my thought process there. Haize, proud father of more than just kids. Awesome to see it all coming together. Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate it. We need a younger power forward also under NECA, which is Kiki. Good point there. Good point. Seattle Storm is in win now mode. Their head coach said she's on borrowed time. I think they draft Kiki Efren or Anisha Morrow, maybe even Sonia Citron. It's a possibility. It's definitely a possibility. Like, and if that does happen, it'd be the best of both worlds. Like, if the Sky can walk away from this draft and still get Olivia Miles without trading up, right? If you can get Olivia Miles in this draft, that'll be perfect for your team. And then I think at that point later on in that draft, you may go maybe small forward. Then at that point, it's a possibility, right? So we'll see what happens. Haize, bro, what are we going to do, fam? Like, I don't see no way we're going to come out with a winning roster. How don't you? I mean, I think the Sky's roster is going to be better. I think it's going to be kind of more aligned. I think we're going to have kind of more of a vision coaching wise, and that's not a knock on Teresa Weatherspoon, but we're going to have kind of more of a vision for the roster. And I think that with adding 2 picks in the first round here, especially in a draft that's fairly deep, we're going to have nice young talent that's kind of all on the same path. Now, of course, that young talent has to learn how to win. Make no mistake about that. But I think Tyler Marsh is going to have that focus to be able to do that. So we'll see. We'll see. The Seattle Storm might plan to go younger, especially if they also trade Skylar Diggins Smith, since she's a veteran and is trying to win right now. Great point that I also pointed out there. Hey, I skipped your question. Hold on. Let me go find it. Give me one. Sometimes the chat refreshes on me, so that I don't do it on purpose. What do you think about HVL to Chicago? She played with Angel last year. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Skylar even tried recruiting Angels to Seattle. I don't think she's going anywhere anytime soon. Well, she is, because her contract's up. And keep in mind, when she tried to recruit Angel, it's when Jewell Loyd was still on the roster. So it's a very different situation now. Like, Jewell Loyd not being in Seattle and them making the choice to trade her and getting a draft pick back, that really does point that the Seattle Storm may be going in a much different direction, is all I'm saying. This chat jumping, Haize. I didn't realize this many people would be here so fast. Me either. Like, especially in the offseason while NFL games going on, no less. So, I appreciate it. Wasn't expecting Plum to the Sparks, but who's your starting 5, and is Cameron Brink still out? I mean, I don't know. I'm not a Sparks fan right now, so we'll see what happens with that one. As far as the Sky and their starting 5, we got so much up in the roster, I can't even begin to go there. Now that Olivia Miles is back on the board for Chicago, who should they go for in free agency? Maybe trade Dana for Brittany Sykes. Listen, here's the thing, right, with the Sky, is that I don't know if the Sky try to make a big splash in free agency if they're truly going for this youth movement. And again, this is all speculative on my point, right? Is that they could very well just try to go through the process organically. They could sign some players, like we heard that they even met with Vandersloot, which would be crazy to bring her back here, right? But I think that may point towards that they're looking kind of on veteran signings as kind of maybe mentors, help provide some structure, things like that. But we haven't really heard a whole lot about the Sky in free agency right now. So that tells me that the Sky aren't really very active in free agency. And again, I could be wrong in this. Maybe they're just sleeping beasts waiting to pounce on something. But I think right now that the Sky are in a place where they are trying to just wait it out and develop. I think that they are really focused on their youth and development right now. So I don't think that we're going to see like a big free agent splash for them. I don't think that we're going to see like a lot of that coming down for the Chicago Sky. I just don't think we're going to see it. So I think ultimately when it comes down to it, like, you're going to see some functional signings, some signings that add some structure, maybe re-sign some of our veterans to 1-year deals. Keep in mind, there's also the salary cap is going to rise next summer. So you're going to see a lot of 1-year deals, I think, signed across the WNBA. That's why I don't think you've seen a lot of signings yet at the opening of free agency. But we'll see, man. It's going to be, because of the salary cap rising and contracts going up, it's going to be really interesting to see how this free agency plays off, because there are going to be a lot of people who just sign for 1-year deals. So we'll see what happens there. Shyanne sellers for the Sky. I love the idea of Shyanne there. I love the idea of Shyanne coming here to the Sky. So they talked to Dejanay Carrington as well. Yeah, just sure. And listen, Carrington is just a dog. Like, I mean, she's just a dog. So it is what it is. Sloot, I won't say she's washed, and Unrivaled is very different. Like 3-on-3 basketball is very different, especially for a point guard who's a pass first point guard. It's very different. So we'll see. I think that Sloot can still be impactful and effective, but I do think like if they were to sign Sloot, again, it's not for Sloot to come in and save the team. It's for have a veteran presence around here. Is I think what would happen. Maybe that's what got me nervous, and it could be right. Could be. How many seasons away from winning a chip? I can't answer that until after the draft because I do think like if the Sky do get Olivia Miles or even like I said a Citron and a Cheyenne Sellers, I got to stop saying their names back to back. Cheyenne Sellers. I honestly think that the Sky, as far as competing on playoff runs, are probably a year or two away with development, in my personal opinion. So we'll see. We'll see. Sloot is better than Dana or Allen at point guard. I'm sorry. What are you apologizing for? You're not wrong. She's more consistent. Like Dana, of course, Dana can go off scoring probably better than Sloot can at this point in their careers. But again, Dana doesn't do that consistently. So, it is what it is. Chicago needs a brand new bench that includes shooting and defense. Alicia Clark might be available as a free agent. Don't think we need Sloot if Olivia is coming. That's 4 point guards. Yeah, I mean, but especially with our inability to run an offense last year and wanting to get our bigs more involved, we'll see what happens. And keep in mind, just because Dana got signed to a qualifying offer does not mean that the Sky are going to keep her. I think everybody kind of need it gives them rights to negotiate, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the Sky are going to keep her. So I think people are kind of looking at the fact that she was signed to a qualifying offer as, oh, it must mean that the Sky are going to keep her. It doesn't necessarily mean that. So we'll see what happens there. But all right, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Just wanted to get this quick live in here to discuss the trade and what it could mean for the Chicago Sky. Overall, when it comes down to it, just to recap real quick, if the Seattle Storm, and I'll say if, they are deciding to go a younger route and start preparing for the future and drafting Olivia Miles, I think that the Sky still have plenty of things, plenty of players in this draft that can still help, can still be added to the core, can still develop here. And we'll see what happens over time with that one, guys. I've been sick for a long time, so I was trying to get this done before I started my coughing fit started. Thank you guys so much, man, for staying in tune here, man. Make sure you're following us at Chicago Sky Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, Chicago Sky Central at gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, 773-270-2799. Hey, get those voicemails in. I know it's off season, but I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. So get those voicemails in so we can interact with you guys a little bit more. That's our best way to interact with you guys other than the live chat. Next time it should be me and Steve-O on here together so we can have a discussion. Love you guys. Go Sky. Peace, y'all.